I've been looking for you. Got something I'm supposed to deliver. Your hands only. Let's see here. A letter. Not sure who from. He wouldn't say, just that he was a friend of yours. Looks like that's it. Got to go.
What do you want, milk drinker?
Honor to you, my Thane.
because you two are close.
You're sorry? How dare you speak his name, healer?
You don't blame me. You blame yourself. I know because I did the same.
You know nothing.
ᵯᴑᴆᴆᴇᴆ.
By Ysmir, I should have stayed with him.
Relax, you two. We don't know that he's dead for certain, but we don't have time to assume anything else.
So does this mean you're going to help?
I didn't say that. As I told ᵯᴑᴆ, I won't commit my men on a path to treason until you prove the girl is of royal blood. But obviously, with Larston missing, I'm willing to provide some aid. But first, you must tell me where this child is being held.
To be honest, I'm curious myself. Healing the child is my sole responsibility.
Child? You two don't get it. There is no child.
What? What do you mean?
It was years ago. The Jarl of Whiterun asked me to find a boy in Cyrodiil. He never said why. It wasn't a rescue. It was a kidnapping. But I convinced myself it was the right thing. But the boy came home. He said he was looking for the heir to ᵯᴑᴆᴆᴇᴆ. He never realized he was looking for himself. Larston is your bastard king. The blade is to be forged with his blood.
Unbelievable. Why would he hide this from us?
He doesn't know. When the boy was kidnapped, my orders were to kill anyone who came looking for him. I would have killed him too, if we hadn't met that day on the hillside. Maybe it was a mistake. It all seems that way now.
So he thinks you're the queen. When were you planning on telling him?
I don't know.
Ah, what am I doing here then? Are you asking that my men commit treason to put a ghost on the throne?
You said it yourself. He could still be alive.
And even if he is, what state will his mind be in? We don't have much time before he breaks.
Then we should do our best to find him.
It wasn't all lies, you know. That story about the saber cat. It was the only real thing we could ever share.
He spoke about that day often. How he was lost in thought, ambling up that hillside.
That sounds like him. He was so busy thinking. He never saw the saber cat until he was halfway down its stomach.
From that moment and every day after, his thoughts were always of you. Keep him in your prayers. As Kara said, he may still be alive yet. So the letter arrived, just not in time. We were ambushed. I know. As I tried to tell ᵯᴑᴆᴇᴆ, in life, there are so many things we deserve blame for. It makes little sense to take responsibility for things we are not. They were posing as wounded soldiers. No, not posing. They were wounded. Such was their discipline and commitment to their trap. As soldiers, it wasn't unusual for them to be carrying weapons. One of them knocked me over the head just as I was healing the last of them. I lost consciousness, but by the ᵯᴑᴆᴆᴇᴆ's blessing, I managed to survive. Unfortunately, when I awoke, both the Thane and the soldiers were gone. We didn't have much in common. Much like the steed, he was impatient. But he was also straightforward, and I respected that. I just pray the stars guide him to safety, in this life, or the next one. Yes, that was surprising. Still, it doesn't change anything. The ritual is perilous, regardless of the person's age or constitution. I don't agree with the idea of risking anyone's life, nor do I believe the Thane's claim to the throne is particularly strong. But I cannot stand idly by and let him perish. If we find him, and he still wants to go through with it, I'll heal him. Then you should relay that to Kara's Dragonborn. With the Thane gone, it would be best to defer to him.
When the Thane looked upon this axe, he saw a symbol of peace.
A sharp mind cuts deeper than any sword.
Every Nord under the kin of their greatest ancestor. What I see is a weapon, one powerful enough to slay a god. Because in the end, the only peace that ever lasts is the kind brokered through fear. Tell me, Dragonborn, what do you think makes a ruler? Does the boy have a chance? The people will rally behind the descendant of ᵯᴑᴆᴆᴇᴆ, but the Jarls have other ambitions. It's the fear that keeps them in line, and just as every warrior needs an axe, every king needs an army. Soldiers on both sides of the war. Sons and daughters who grew tired of the choice between Ulfric's ambition and the Empire's incompetence. We all continue to serve faithfully, while at the same time, we serve Skyrim above any who wears a crown. If Thane Larston, if he is what's best for this land, we will all turn our cloaks to his colors. But you'll excuse me if I have my doubts. The boy has proven nothing yet, and I won't ask my men to be rebels for a lie. Forged from the bones of Borges himself, apparently, and the blood of his bastard kin. The edge is so sharp it dulls quickly, and only responds to the right blood. Thus it is proof of one's lineage, but not one's valor. For that, there is another ritual. The slaying of a beast, said to be the very monster that slew Borges. Any good news is welcome, although obviously, things have changed now that we know Larston is the king. We take 2 steps forward only to stumble 3 steps back. At this rate, we're better off waiting for the next king's mood. Follow me. I don't want to discuss this in front of the girl. These were the previous occupants of this shack. Dragons got them, it seems. Burned by fire while trying to light their own. In many ways, that is what this ritual is. It's a flame. And it's my job to make sure it's used correctly. I know of Gren and his claim. I know he's kidnapped Larston, and he plans to trade him for the axe. I thought if Foletild was made aware, she would trade both the Child Queen and the axe to save him. But if Larston is the king, I don't know if he'll make for a good ruler. Something tells me this whole thing is a fool's endeavor. But what I do know is Gren cannot be allowed to take the throne He is the kind of torch that will set all of Skyrim aflame. You've seen his methods. Attacking people inside taverns, breeding werewolves, and gods know what else. Now imagine what he'd be capable of if he had 30 times the resources. But it's time you saw for yourself. I want you to meet him. This letter was meant for Folatild, but it's best if you go. Tell Gren we don't care if he kills Larsden. The axe will be forged with the child's blood. No, because her knowing is the best way to get him killed. She'll trade the axe for him in a heartbeat, and they'll realize how important he is. This is a game of high-stakes Iron Hearts. We've been dealt a bad hand. The only way to win is to bluff. Besides, if you know anything about love, there's no chance she's given up hope. When you go there, I want you to talk to his men. Remember, you're the Dragonborn. People look up to you. If you can learn something, anything about his whereabouts, we might be able to save him. Just remember who you are, and what's at stake. Good luck.
Hold on. I'm coming with you.
No. Folatild is suspicious enough as it is. It's best you stay here.
If we find the Thane, you're going to need a healer. I'm the only thing that can stand between him and Aetherius.
Fine. But you two damn well better succeed. There's been enough mourning for one day.
Let's go. Hopefully someone at their camp will betray the Thane's whereabouts. A sharp mind, deeper than any sword.
I thought he was beginning to suspect the truth. Showing less concern for his safety was my way of protecting him. Although now I realize I was only protecting myself. I was 15, half the age I am now, but with twice the acclaim. I was firing arrows into a target dummy when I heard a voice behind me telling me to relax my shoulders. I told him I didn't need anyone's advice. He laughed and said I'd make for a poor queen. I turned around, and it was the Jarl. Then he asked me if I'd ever been to Cyrodiil. That's how all of this started.
A sharp mind cuts deeper than any sword. Farewell.
eyes on the target. But your ears, they're listening for the archer on the hill. And the snake in the grass. Your body is feeling the strength of the wind. Which way is it blowing? How fast is it moving? How often does it change? If you can't tell me that, then you might as well head over to Frigg and tell him you want an apron. Remember to practice from both the upright and crouching position. You won't be able to dictate the size of your cover, so be perfect at both.
Hey, you're not supposed to be in here.
Our Lord ᵯᴑᴆᴆᴇᴆ, the Harbinger of us all, didn't rise up from his moon, old grave, to watch you green thumbs chain him back to
No one
Skyrim.
sees the boss unless I
Only the best have the
love of
privilege
Talos
of serving
lets
under
me in.
Lord Grand.
Dragonborn,
The rest of you
how
can
nice it is
spend
to
your
finally
days
meet you.
with a war
You're far
teacher
more
in
handsome than the
Baldur's
rumors give you
Tower.
credit for. And I'm relieved for that. You see, my charges are a faithful lot, and not the most pleasant to look at. You think these ones are ugly? You should meet my war teacher. He must have liked climbing trees as a child, and falling down more so. Either that, or he washes his face from bees. You know how these alchemist mage types are. Too bad he couldn't be here to show you. He's quite busy, you see, at torturing your friend. Of course, whether he continues on or lets your theme drop dead, that depends on your answer to this question. Where is my axe? What happens? You mean you don't know? To be honest, neither do I. I'm waiting for Eldritch to come up with something sufficiently ghoulish. But fine, if that's the way you want to play it, then just tell the quartermaster where you live, so we know where to send the body parts. We're done here.
My dad was twice named Gorwolf the Eagle Eye.
Our appearance alone will make him think Larson has more
I
value
wouldn't
alive.
remember your sorry lot if you shot my own children. Or maybe I would, seeing as it would be a miracle if you managed to hit anything. So, you've met our Lord Grand, twice returned, Harbinger of us all. I'm sure you were impressed. Everyone starts by thinking he's a jester. But that's all an act. The fire burns within him. If only this lot had a tenth of his passion. Ramth the Greater they are not. They aren't even Ramth the Lesser. I'd wager the three of them add up to less than 0.
Bren mentioned a war teacher.
Ah, you mean Eldritch. Frigg would know more about this, but I think the war teachers of old were wise men, as opposed to instructors like me. He calls him a lot of names. War teacher, all-seer, and the like. The rest of us just call him creepy. But as long as he recognizes our Lord Gren as the Harbinger of us all, I have no problem with the man.
This freak sounds interesting, but we should make sure we talk with him.
So, you've met our Lord Gren, twice returned. Harbinger of... May be hard to believe now, but once the axe is forged, and the beast is slain, madmen will be known as prophets. Although you wouldn't know it looking at the soldiers I have to train. Harbinger could probably throw his shield further than they can shoot.
Bren mentioned a war teacher.
Ah, you mean Eldritch. That's a side our Lord reveals in battle, and in the tales that recount them. Here at camp, he's more jovial, but beware. His rage is as fierce as the storm of separation. I try to channel the same when dealing with these archers, but it's tough. They don't exactly remind you of far-sighted Ook in terms of talent. They remind me more of my nearsighted Granda. He's a kind, elderly man, but not someone you want at your back when the enemy is charging.
This freak sounds interesting, but we should make sure we talk with everyone.
So, you've met our Lord Gren twice. Aye. As fine as the day he first set shore on this land, and drove the foul-hearted to Solstheim. Unfortunately, these milk drinkers aren't exactly Froa and Grosta. At this rate, we ought to put the armor on the targets, and make these three the dummies.
Bren mentioned a war teacher.
It's natural, given our Lord speaks only in the battle cries. And every word builds a mountain of courage as high as the spires of Windhelm. I try to motivate this sorry lot, but even if I choose my words wisely, they will never measure up to his. Besides, it's not as if I'm training fire-breathing Urlak. These three are too busy sucking air. Ah, you mean Eldritch. Frigg would know more about this, but I think the war teachers of old, wise men, as opposed to instructors like me.
Hmm?
He calls him a lot of names. War teacher, old seed, and the like. The rest of us just call him creepy. But as long as he recognizes our Lord Gren as the Harbinger of us all, I have Gorwolf the Eagle.
Yes? Stormcloak or Imperial?
But I wouldn't remember your sorry lot if you shot my
Another
own
Legionnaire.
children.
Excellent. These soldiers are well trained,
I would.
but be sure to
Seeing
play
as it
nice
would
with
be
your
a miracle
Stormcloak
if you managed
brothers.
to hit anything.
You can get your uniform from the Quartermaster, Frigg. Let me know if you have any further questions.
Remember to practice from both the upright and crouching position.
Prisoners of war.
You ought to be
They'll
able
either
to
be given the choice of joining the blood or dying
So
of
be
blood
perfect
loss.
at both.
Stormcloak or Imperial? Which side are you defecting from, the Stormcloaks or the Empire? Wonderful. I trust you still have your armor? Hopefully you weren't like some of the others and tossed it away. Either way, talk to the Quartermaster, Frigg. He can either dye your Stormcloak uniform red or craft you a new set. Stormcloak or Imperial? Fresh meat then. Gren loves those. It makes for a more cohesive unit. You can get your uniform from the Quartermaster, Frigg. Let me know if you have any further questions. Do I have to walk you to him? He's the Nord in the apron on the southeast end of the camp, near all the smithing tools. He's a good smith, and a decent man, even if he is one of Eldritch's. That's not an easy question to answer. Does a Jarl have control over his apothecary? In most matters, yes. He could sentence the apothecary to death if he wished, but if the Jarl were to get sick, he'd have no choice but to listen. You'd have to ask Eldritch about that. He's the one who handles the ritual. Gren handles the military side of things. Of course, it was different when Ulfram was here, but the old fool lost his mind. Now Eldritch is the only authority on the subject. The war teacher. Outside of that senile old man Ulfram, he's the only one around here that knows anything about these rituals. Gren sends him a few of the lesser recruits every now and then for training. None of them ever come back. Except Frigg. When our previous blacksmith fell ill, Frigg returned to replace him. He mostly keeps to himself, but when he does talk, it's rather strange. I'm not entirely sure. It's a fancy name for a court wizard, I think. Frigg is the first one who said it, and now Gren has taken to the name, if only sarcastically. Of course, it was different when ᵯᴑᴆᴆ was here. Gren sends him when our previous blacksmith talk to him yourself. He doesn't speak like the rest of us. Mixes in some of the old tongue. He's the one who first started calling Eldritch the war teacher instead of the court wizard. Very well, but make it quick. Stormcloak or Imperial? Fresh meat? You can get your uniform from the quartermaster, Frigg. That's not a question you should be asking if you want to keep your head. Former Imperial tents. The distinction is rather important, especially for many of the soldiers here. For the ex-legionnaires, it makes them feel at home. For the ex-Stormcloaks, they like the idea we stole the tents from the Empire. It really comes down to craftsmanship, however. If the Stormcloaks made better tents, we would have killed them instead. Stormcloak or Imperial? Fresh meat? You can get your uniform from the quartermaster. To be honest, for my brother, Brune. He used to be a farmhand, and back then everyone called him Ox. Gren was the only one in town who bothered to learn his name. Sometimes he'll curse him out or have a laugh at his expense, but the one thing he'll always do is call him by name. As for me, I promised Ma and Pa I'd look after my little brother. So here I am.
Yeah? Hmm? Watch what you're doing.
You call that archery? I see milk-drinking babies with better aim. Our Lord ᵯᴑᴆᴆᴇᴆ, the Harbinger of us all, didn't rise up from his moon to go to the grave, to watch you green thumbs shame him back to Sovngarde. When you cock your bow, make sure you have the same anchor point. Consistent draws make for consistent shots.
They sung of the return, 500 sons and daughters. A battle cry to banish the old from the snow-drenched earth. And they sing once more, for he will come, twice named, and now twice returned. Lord ᵯᴑᴆᴆ, Harbinger of us all. Hail, mighty oarsman. I am Frigg, the builder. I craft the earthen longboats to sail the honor bearers so we might end the days of the old sea. With honor you give me 2 names, when I own but one. But you are Dovahkiin, and your voice speaks for the gods. So it shall be, a mighty boat I must build, to send you to sun-bright lands. For when eye meets eye in the face of our Lord, that which left by force shall return by will. The one called the bowstringer, he teaches battle, but is not a war teacher, for he is not far-sighted like the all-seer Eldritch. Sevrila does not speak with tongue, for it is not made of steel. Brune, whose weapon shouts, suffers the same, but not by will. Hjolm the strategist sets the nameless on a path, and tells the builder on what boat they should sail. Still, some nameless call themselves things, but a name given by self is not a name. The nameless call him a mage in their idleness of mind, but magic the war teacher does not wield. He draws the lifeblood from the animal spirits And when kind's blessing first received, even the nameless are glory-born. The nameless cannot lose their self, for a self they do not own. I too was to be blessed with the animal spirit, but the war teacher saw my hand drink the hammer and turn steel into slave. From henceforth, I was to be called the Builder, to build the longboats that will deliver the Lord to our shores. ᵯᴑᴆᴆᴇᴆ the Wise taught the nameless to use axes, and showed the shield brothers and sisters how war is made. But he was also a wise man, a teacher of courage, to guide one's path from children to men. As time has passed, we are all knowledge-given, all experts of war. But what we have lost is the way. Eldritch, the All-Seer, he shows the path, back to the beginning, to change the end. This I cannot reveal. The war teacher, he is the speaker, and to him all ears are trained. I am the builder, and will craft the boat, so you may hear the cresting of his waves. The war teacher sounds the horn, so that all hear your name. Go to him, hoist the mast and set sail south to a mill of heart's wood. When rest is gained and the day is born, sail upon dew-splashed seas of green to the ruins where stone bleeds wind.
The mill of heart's wood is obvious enough. We should probably head there first anyways and see if the residents are safe.
The name, he draws the lifeblood. The war teacher is wise to put kind's hand in his, so that the treacherous fear even those without oars. When the beasts walk, a trail they will blaze, so no wicked will stand between the sight of our Lord when he is twice returned. Then the oarsmen will row upon sundered earth. From false kings we claim this land that was once free. The war teacher is not just a strategist of battle, or a teacher of the axe. He is a wise man, far-sighted, an all-seer of time. When the war teacher speaks, even the ink will silence the wind and chisel the stone. But his word, battle-cried, is only the herald. His horn sounds the call, but it is not the Lord. The war teacher bows to the twice named, twice returned. Perhaps it is the one you call Gren. Perhaps it is another. The war... Still, some nameless call themselves things. The name... He draws the lifeblood from the... So say the wicked born, but you, ToughGamingGuy, will soon hear it speak. When the word reaches you, peace will mind visit, the fog blown away by truth's honored shout. ᵯᴑᴆᴆᴇᴆ the Wise taught the nameless to use axes, and showed the shield brothers and sisters how war is made. But he was also a wise man, a teacher of courage, to guide one's path from children to men. As time has passed, we are all knowledge-given, all experts of war. But what we have lost is the way. Eldritch, the All-Seer, he shows the path, back to the beginning, to change the end. Quills of iron and steel, with which the names are written.
This is a trap.
twice nice.
But even so, it doesn't appear as if Gran is aware of it.
But I wouldn't remember your sorry lot if you shot my own children. Or maybe I would. Because it would be a miracle if you managed to hit anything.
Need something?
Don't be afraid to move back a few steps. Or get a little closer. Knowing your range is key to being an effective archer.
It's just me and my mother at the mill here. My father's gone. We don't know what happened to him. I hope you're not here to start some trouble. I'll fight you if I have to. Somewhere else?
Hand over your valuables, or I would gut you like a fish.
I suppose I could be, but then there'd be no reason to fight.
Last mistake. Die, you filthy bitch! Never should have God, no.
Well, traveler, try as we might. It looks like we can't go more than 50 paces without running into each other. Neither would I. Traveling across Skyrim just isn't the same without you. So, tell me, what brings you to the rift? Only they all dress the same. And they've been forcing the farms to ration them supplies by order of the High King. So what are they? A cult? All the more reason for the three of us to work together. In any case, we can head straight west from here. Once we hit the mountain, just look for their columns with the eagle heads.
A sharp mind cuts deeper than any sword.
So, what's the plan? Of course. What are items but things to be shared among friends?
Farewell.
May the Hist guide us. So tell me, priest, what's this group done exactly that has you chasing after them?
They're holding an important man. The former Thane of Whiterun.
If he's a former Thane, he isn't all that important anymore, is he? Unless there's something else you're hiding.
He might be the High King.
You mean another one?
Possibly the only one. That isn't for us to decide, nor should it be.
You lead. I'll follow. Unmoored ruin. Thousands of years old. This is a large barrel traveler. I suggest we start with the catacombs.
Just curious. Is there a reason you think that's where they'll be?
None. But I know that's where the Draugr are, and it'd be a shame not to slay a few on the way.
Alright. We don't have time to go in circles. We have even less time to argue. The catacombs it is. Smells upon us. Look, this entire section of rubble has been cleared out recently.
What did I tell you, priest? Go where the action is. It never fails. Looks like the High King's been taking more than his fair share from the locals.
This makes them look different than bandits.
One time, the gods listened to my request, and it's this of all things.
was that? Someone was that?
Good. I don't think I have any scars left to shave.
Let's keep it.
Werewolves. Didn't you say this pan breeds them?
Yes. There's no mistaking it. This must be the war teacher's lair.
hist.
Are you...
Fine. The spell, it seems to be working. Just give me a moment.
Thank the mage. Do you think you can walk?
Yeah, I'll be alright. What about the others?
On the brink of death. Doesn't look like magic will be enough. Plus their eyes and tongues have been cut out. What kind of sick ritual is going on here?
I don't know. I never even saw his face. But your faces I can plainly see, and none have been more welcome. Well, I guess... Dragonborn. It's good to see you both. And you as well, stranger. Any friend of the Dragonborn is a friend of mine.
The honor is mine, Thane. Or should I say, King?
So it's true that what the madman said. Followed it. She lied to me. How could she have kept this from me? She was trying to protect the bastard king. Trying to protect the throne. She cared little of what became of me. But I will deal with her later. I don't suppose we can find the madman who did this to me.
Look around. Even if you don't find anything on the war teacher, you may be able to gather more information on the ritual. I will see if any of these wounded can be saved.
Try upstairs. Before you came, there were all sorts of noises. And maybe I was going mad, but I thought I heard writing.
Looks like the prisoners succumbed to the inevitable. I commit their souls to Arthurius.
Wait. I think one of them's missing. Up front, I swear by the hist, there was someone there. Let's go, traveler. He couldn't have gotten far.
Hold on. Thane is in no shape for a fight. It would be unwise to split up now. It's likely whoever he was, he's already got him.
I don't know, healer. It seems like he only got away because we let him. Let's just hope we don't end up on the wrong end of this trade. You really know how to inspire confidence in your friends, don't you? Are you sure it's not too late to go after that prisoner?
We have to head back to Greenwood. Karst and the others will be waiting for us there.
get your own skill.
A calm spirit provides the best counsel.
You starting a new company? You already have a companion with you.
A sharp mind cuts deeper than any
Algus,
sword.
my friend, it is impossible to tell you how much I appreciate open air right now.
Don't overdo it and go running through the forest. We need to maintain our strength. This camp seems like the ideal place to stop and rest.
Rest. There's another thing I need to reacquaint myself with. I'm not sure I have enough blood left for this ritual.
So you're committed to seeing this through. I had hoped that you'd reconsider.
I told you, Valgus. Skyrim comes first. If it means I must spill my own blood, then so be it.
Then you leave me no choice but to hail you. But my involvement ends there.
An Imperial to the end. And what about you, Knight? I doubt you have much interest in politics, but there is glory to be had in slaying the beast.
I'm sorry, Thane, but you three will have to go on without me. I have business in Riften. I may not understand, but I know you will. Ever since ᵯᴑᴆᴆᴇᴆ died, I keep thinking back to that day, and the child that was spared. Sometimes I feel like this boy. He's the last bit of honor we have left. I owe it to the company to make sure he's safe. And seeing that temple of blood, it was a reminder of how dangerous this world can be. I thought I'd make a stop there and ask the caretaker if they've seen him. Maybe he was tired of traveling and just wanted a normal life. So we part ways once more, traveler. Next time you come back to the rift, ask for the lizard in mourning.
Until we meet again, Swamp Knight.
Safe travels, all of you.
You lead the way, Dragonborn. You don't need to concern yourself with pace. If I'm truly the kid of Ysgramor, I'll be fine.
A sharp mind cuts deeper than any sword.
You starting a new company?
axe is worthless without him. I would give Gren 100 ancient relics if that's what it takes.
Don't you see? The boy's claim is just as worthless without the axe.
That boy is your king.
And back from the dead, it seems. Well done, Dragonborn.
My love!
There is no need to carry on this farce. I know my destiny.
Then you know you're to be king?
Yes, I know. And the sad part is, it was the enemy who told me what my own housecarl sought to conceal.
I never wanted to hurt you.
I want you out of this place by tomorrow.
No. But why? What about us?
There is no us. Karis! I take it we still have the axe. And what of the blacksmith?
The girl from Kvatch, the Dragonborn, convinced to help our cause. She's actually down there now. She wanted to see the forge for herself.
Excellent. Then we'll begin the ritual now.
No, you can't. It's too soon.
She's right. Even with the most powerful of spells, I can only do so much.
You forget. The blood of kings flows through my veins. We will do the ritual now. With or without you.
Then I suppose it can't be helped.
A calm spirit provides the best counsel. A calm spirit provides the best counsel.
Blacksmith, is the weapon ready to be forged?
You want to do this now? I suppose I could. All I really need is the blood.
The blood is right here. We will do this. Quench the axe from within my body.
What? Boy, that's insane.
There are no shortcuts to our intended goal. If I am to be king, the ritual must be done right.
You wouldn't do this if it was Volatil taking the axe.
This is how the axe is supposed to be forged. And if I survive, your eyes will all be witness to legend.
And if you die,
then you have my permission to toss me the
My lord, the axe is ready, but it has to be now.
I am ready. Ancestors.
You're up. I can see why you'd want some rest, given the events of the past few days. As you know, the axe was forged, but Larston suffered grave injuries. It still amazes me that he managed to survive. I've heard Gren has decided to try Ulfric's approach, and take the throne by force. That likely won't end well. The healer returned to wandering the camps, and the blacksmith returned to her forge. Larsden left this morning for the Temple of Kain. The rest of us cater to his every whim, but his body refuses to cooperate. As for Volatil, she left quietly in the night. It was rough, but I don't blame the Thane. Not after the lies she spun. Ah, you're up. I can see, as you... I've heard Gren has this... The fool takes it with him, like a badge of honor. He says it will inspire the people, and rally them behind him. More like it will inspire an enterprising thief to take it off his belt. Not that he listens to me. How could I forget? When the axe felled our would-be king, the ground itself shook as if some great monster was rising from the earth. The beast, no doubt. The one the legends speak of. It heard our king's challenge, and it roared to meet it. I nearly dropped to my knees. We all did. Shore's bones, it jostled my very soul. But it's strange. The source of it, did you feel it? It was almost as if the beast was there in that cave with us. But that's impossible. The boy paid a price for his impatience. He is in no condition to fight the beast. I told him there's nothing that says we couldn't kill it on his behalf. But as you saw, he wants to do this right. I'm sure he will send for you when he has recovered. For now, take this. You did a great service to Skyrim, Dragonborn. Thank you.